welcome to the first in a series of classes introducing you to the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. So Ashtanga Yoga is a traditional form of yoga originating from the south of India, and if practiced regularly, it has the potential to bring strength, flexibility and stamina to the body. The classes have been taught in a progressive way, so we suggest you start with the first lesson. Try that out for a week or so until you become proficient in the exercises that you're learning, and until you memorize them as well before moving on to the next class. So the most important thing you should know before you start Ashtanga Yoga is how important the breath is. So the basis of Ashtanga Yoga is a concept called vinyasa, and this means breath, movement, synchronization. In Ashtanga, for every movement we do, there's a corresponding inhale and exhale. And it's this synchronization of the breath and the movement that generates internal heat. And this is a very important part of the practice. The heat warms the body and the blood, which circulates throughout the body, making the joints and the muscles more supple, and also resulting in sweat and the removal of toxins. So essentially the practice also is like a purification for the body, nervous system and for the mind. So I have with me today Anma and Tasha, who are going to demonstrate the postures that we're going to learn in this first session. So to begin with, let's start with some breathing exercises. So lying down on your backs. And just spread the feet a little bit wider than the hips. Have the toes turned outwards, palms turned up towards the ceiling. And just relax the body completely. So we spend most of the day walking around with our minds very caught up into in our heads. So the process of yoga is to take the mind from out of the head and into the body. So firstly, just feeling where the back of the heels are touching the mat. Feeling the back of the legs resting on the mat. Feeling the spine making contact with the mat. And just the shoulders roll back, opening the chest. And feeling the back of the hands resting on the mat. And finally, the head is feeling very heavy as it rests on the mat. So let's bring our attention to the breath now. So bring your awareness deep down into the belly, and this is where we're going to breathe from. So as you inhale, let your stomach rise up towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, let it fall back down again. So inhale and the stomach rises, and exhale, it falls back down. So this is a type of breathing, we just call it belly breathing, and it's designed to make sure we're breathing using the diaphragm, and it has a very calming effect on the body. So it's a good practice that you can actually do anytime throughout the day. Breathe deep into the belly. So consciously start lengthening and deepening the inhalation. So put quite a bit of emphasis on a deep inhalation and a long exhalation. Start paying attention now to the length of the inhale and the exhale. And you want to balance between the two. So if you're inhaling for 3 seconds, then exhale for 3 seconds. So on the next exhalation, I want you to open your mouth and make a sound as you exhale. So inhale and exhale through the mouth. And just notice that feeling at the back of the throat. So it's just a little slight constriction at the back of the throat, making this soft hissing sound, like the hissing of a snake. So from now on, we're going to breathe just in and out of the nose, but seeing if you can make that same sound as you breathe in and out of the nose. So inhale and exhale. So we start thinking of this concept of same. So the inhale and the exhale are the same length, and also we're trying to make the same sound on the inhale and the exhale, this slight hissing sound. So don't worry if you notice it's easier to make that sound on the exhale. Eventually you'll be able to bring that same quality to the inhale as well. And this breathing with sound plays a role in warming the air as it enters the body. And as we mentioned, this warmth within the body is an important part of the practice. So continuing now to breathe in and out of the belly, making the sound as you breathe. So let's move the breath into a different section of the torso. I want you to take your hands at the base of the rib cage, bringing it here. And now as you inhale, expand into that part of the chest. And exhale, narrowing the chest again. So as you hold the rib cage, you feel like you're pressing against the hands as you inhale. And exhale, breathe, bringing the chest together again. So continuing, really trying to find a rhythm with the breath. So inhaling and exhale. Good, and one more. Inhale deeply into the chest and exhale. So we're now going to start breathing in 3 parts of the body. So we're going to feel like the breath is moving like a wave up through the torso. So just take your right hand on the belly and the left hand comes onto the upper chest. And as you inhale, expand into the belly a little bit and then expand the rib cage and finally lift the upper chest. Exhale, draw the belly in, narrow the ribs and lower the upper chest. So breathing to my count. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. And last one. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Good, and just returning the hands back down beside you. And we're going to come up to a seated position. So to do that, just draw the knees into the chest and just rock a little bit side to side. And then rocking all the way up. And then come into what we call our cat-cow position. So take the knees directly under the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. And before we start, we're just going to do a little bit of exercise to warm up the back and also work on this concept of linking the breath with the movement. So as you exhale, I want you to round the back and look towards the belly button, spread the shoulder blades. Good, and very slowly arch the back the other way as you inhale and look up. So exhale, rounding the back, lifting up and drawing the belly in, and inhale, slowly arch the back, tilting the pelvis forward and spreading the sitting bones. Exhale, rounding the back, drawing in, spreading the shoulder blades. And inhale as you arch the back. And then just push back on the hands and seat the buttocks down onto the feet. Stretch the arms out, head on the ground, and just resting there. And just have a few breaths here. And coming up, sitting up again. And we'll do a couple more of these. So exhale as you round the back. Inhale and arch the back. Exhale, round the back. And now just return back to a neutral spine. And we're going to come into a posture now that we'll be doing a lot throughout the practice. It's called the downward dog. And so let's just set it up for this. Take your hands a little bit wider than the shoulders. Really spread the fingers, index fingers pointing forwards. Tuck the toes, and all you have to do is push into the mat with the hands, lift the buttocks into the air, and we're in our downward dog. So if you're needing to adjust the feet, just step them slightly forward towards the hands to help bring the heels down, getting a nice stretch up the back of the legs. And girls, inhale, step forward, and we're going to come to a standing position, ready to start our first series of exercises beginning the Ashtanga Yoga sequence. So come up to standing. So let's start with the first posture. It seems like a very basic posture. It's just standing with the feet together, but actually there's a lot going on in this posture, and it's good to get it nice and steady at the beginning because we're always going to be coming back to it. It's called Samasthitihi. So just close your eyes for now, and I want you to bring your awareness into your feet. And just imagine the point beneath the big toe, the little toe and the heel. So it's like a triangle grounding into the mat there. Now bring the awareness to the legs and have very active legs. So draw the kneecaps upwards, activating the quadriceps, which are the thigh muscles. But at the same time, we're not wanting to lock back too hardly in the joints. So feel like you've got a little micro bend in the back of the knee. Then bring the awareness to the inner thighs and draw the inner thighs together. Now take your awareness to the lower back, just lengthening the tailbone by drawing the tailbone down towards the mat. And noticing to do that you need to draw in and hold the lower belly firm. Lovely. Bringing the awareness to the sternum, the chest bone, and just lift that slightly as you move the shoulders down the back. Good. Opening the eyes now, and we're in our nice Samasthitihi posture, ready to begin. So we're going to start with the movement called Surya Namaskar. So Surya means sun and Namaskar means hello, and it's the traditional movement that the yogis in India would do to greet the morning sun, and essentially it's designed to warm up the body. So we're going to start with just the first 3 movements. There's 9 movements that we'll be synchronizing with the breath. We'll just do the first 3, practicing this idea of breath leading the movement. So the first movement, we inhale the arms up, bringing them straight up the front, palms together, and look up towards the thumbs. Second movement, exhale, bend forward, take the hands down to the mat, and bend your knees a little bit if you need to take the hands down. Inhale, lift the head, come onto the fingertips. Good, and then just come back to standing. So let's practice that one more time. So inhale the arms up, exhale, bend forward, and inhale, look up. And then back to standing. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to the next movements of Surya Namaskar. So let's start again for the first 3. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, look up. Now, we're going to step back to what we're going to call the plank position. So step the feet back. Okay, so Tasha's going to show you how, if you need to, you can drop your knees, bend the arms to lie down on the ground, and come all the way down. And Anma will show you can keep the body straight, bend the arms, hold there for a moment, and then just drop all the way on the ground. So now you're in this position. Point your toes, slide your hands back a little bit beside the waist, and lift the head, chest, hips and thighs, and we come up into our upward dog position. Beautiful. Bend your knees and tuck the toes and push back into our downward dog. So as you can see, Tasha did a little step forward there to help bring the heels down. And in the downward dog we have 5 breaths. So be aware of where the shoulders are in this posture. There's a tendency often to have the shoulders hunched up around the ears. You want to move the shoulders down away from the ears, having a nice broad upper back. And 2 more breaths. 4 and 5. Good. Inhale, step back forward between the hands, lifting the head. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, stand up, bring up the arms, look up, and exhale, back to standing, our Samasthitihi position. So we start and finish the Surya Namaskar in this Samasthitihi standing posture. So we're ready to start again. So inhale the arms up, exhale, bend forward. Inhale and look up, exhale, step back, and do one of the 2 options, bending or lying down. Slide the hands back, inhale and push up into upward dog. Exhale, go back into downward dog. So in Ashtanga Yoga, we have a set looking place for every posture that we do. So in downward dog, the looking posture is towards the navel. So tucking the head under and just looking up towards the navel. And 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale and step forward, head up. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, bring up the arms, palms together, look up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Okay, so of course Tasha and Anma have been practicing Ashtanga for a while, so they can bend forward in a very beautiful way. But maybe some of you are finding it's a little bit difficult to bring the hands all the way down to the floor. So Anma, just show if you inhale the arms up and bend forward. If you need to have your knees a little bit bent to take the hands down, that's fine. And then you can just lift up onto the fingertips for the third movement and try to straighten the legs when you're at that point. Good. Okay, come back to standing. And let's do it for the third time, and we'll do it with a bit more of a flow. So inhale the arms up. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to plank position. Bend the arms, come down. Inhale, push up. Exhale, go back. So be aware of your hands. Really spread the fingertips, the fingers, middle finger pointing forward, and press the index and the thumb firmly into the mat. 3, 4, 5. And now this time, rather than stepping forward, we're going to try and do a little jump forward. So bend your knees, come onto your toes and spring into the air and jump. Lovely. And exhale, head down. Inhale, come up, look up. Exhale, back to standing. So let's do that one more time. And this time let's try doing a jump back to plank position before lowering down. So inhale the arms up. Exhale and bend forward. Inhale, look up. Now bend the knees, take the palms completely flat, bring the weight into the hands and do a little jump. Good. Come down with one of the 2 options and then roll forward, push up into upward dog. Exhale, go back into downward dog. And 5 breaths here. So when you're in the downward dog position, feel like you're pushing the hands forward and pushing the heels back. You're stretching the mat with the hands and the feet. 3, 4, 5. And jumping forward. Inhale and jump. Exhale, head down. Inhale, bring up the arms, look up. Exhale, Samasthiti. And last time, inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, jump back to plank. Come down. Inhale. Exhale, go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, jump forward, head up. Exhale, bring the head down onto the knees. Inhale, come up, arms up and look up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. So that was our Surya Namaskar A. So we always start with 5 of Surya Namaskar A. And ideally this is what you do every morning. Wake up, go to the bathroom, have a shower, get on the yoga mat and start with some Surya Namaskar. It's the best way to warm up the body and getting you ready for the day. So let's now move on to the next variation, which is called Surya Namaskar B. So it's got a few extra steps in it. And it takes a little bit more effort for synchronizing the breath with the movement, but it will definitely come with practice. So let's start with our first movement. This time we bend the knees to start. So inhale, bend the knees, arms up. Exhale and bend forward, hands down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, jump to plank and come down. Inhale, push up into upward dog. Exhale, go back. Now from here we're going to take a big step forward with the right leg. So pivot your left leg, step the right leg forward, and then bring up the arms. So the front leg is bent and the back leg is straight, and make that very straight, strong and firm. Now take the hands down next to your foot and we step back to that plank position. And get this nice and strong. So draw in the abdomen, really be firm here before you come down into what we call chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale, push up into upward dog, and exhale, go back into downward dog. This time we do the other side. So take a big step forward with the left leg, bend the knee, back leg is straight, and arms are up. Hands down onto the mat, step back, and come down. Inhale, push up, exhale, go back. And again, we have 5 breaths here, like in Surya Namaskar A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale and jump forward. Exhale, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, arms up. Exhale, straighten the legs, arms down. So let's do the Surya Namaskar B again. So inhale, bend the knees and arms up. Exhale, bend forward, hands onto the mat. Inhale and look up. Exhale, jump back. And bend the arms, come down. Inhale, lift up, and make sure your thighs are off the ground. Push into the mat with the feet, and exhale, go back into downward dog. Now pivot your left foot, and a big step forward with the right, arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back, and come down. Inhale and lift up. Exhale, go back into downward dog. And again, stepping the left leg forward, bring the arms up, hands to the mat, step back and come down. Inhale, lift up into upward dog, and exhale, go back. And 5 breaths here. So become aware of your breath. So each time you inhale, try and take the breath right up into the upper part of the back. And as you exhale, make it an active exhalation. So draw in the abdominal muscles, feeling like you're squeezing out the air. 4, 5. Inhale and jump forward. Exhale, head down. Inhale and bend the knees and arms up. Exhale, back to standing. So what you may have noticed with this is that it's a little bit hard to follow my count. And the reason is because if you're trying to synchronize the breath with the movement, everyone has a different ability for breathing. Some people can breathe deeply, some people more shallow. So it means that you need to go at a pace that suits you. So eventually with Ashtanga Yoga is that you learn these sequences by memory, so you can really follow the breath with the movement. So I'm going to leave the girls now to practice, do this twice more, but without me doing the count, so they can go at their own pace, and you should also follow along as well, and this can be a chance for you to see whether you've been able to memorize the sequence. Okay, so starting now. So remember, if you don't have the strength, it's fine to drop the knees like Tasha is doing before lifting up. So the most important thing to remember is to keep the breath flowing naturally. So if at this point you need to take some extra breaths, that's fine. Just don't hold the breath. It takes a few weeks, even months of regular practice to be able to really get this synchronization nice and smooth. Good, and just returning back to Samasthiti and standing there. So let's move to some finishing postures now to finish the session for today. So sitting down on the floor. So depending on the flexibility and the mobility of the hips, for some of you just sitting with the legs crossed like Anma is fine. For others, see whether you can take your right leg into what we call a half lotus position. So what's important is that the knees, you're not wanting, if it's up like this is showing that you're not ready to do this posture. So just sitting with the legs crossed is fine. So Tasha, wrap the arms around and holding your elbows and bring the head down onto the mat. And Anma, either doing that, or if it's more comfortable, you can also stretch the arms out. Lower the head. We'll have 10 deep breaths here. So continue making this sound as you breathe and trying to keep your attention on the breath, noticing the length of the inhale and the exhale and making a balance between the two. And 5 more breaths. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and come up. Now take the hands about 10 centimeters behind the hips, fingers pointing forwards. Rest the weight into the hands. Lift the chest, gently look upwards. And start breathing deeply into the chest. So just be careful of the neck, not needing to throw the head back, but just gently looking upwards. And as you inhale, really expand the chest. So this is a very good exercise for getting more movement in the chest and bringing more air into the lungs. And 3 more breaths. 3, 2, and the last breath. 1. Bringing the shoulders back over the hips. Take the thumb and the forefinger together, resting the hands on the knees. Lift the chest, but lower the chin slightly. And find a spot to focus the eyes on your mat or your carpet or whatever you're sitting on. So in Ashtanga we always keep the eyes open, but the eyes are kept steady in a particular place. So this is called a dristi, or a looking point. So keeping the eyes steady here for the next 10 breaths. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. 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 Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And the last breath. Inhale. Exhale. Good, and our final posture for today, which is a very important one. Take the hands down, press your hands into the mat and lift yourself up off the ground, and we hold for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Sitting back down, and now finish the class by lying back and taking rest. So lie down on your mat. So make sure you do this at the end of every yoga session. It's an important way to rest the body and bring a sense of rejuvenation to the body after the exertion of the class. And you can stay for as long as you like, but at least 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you, and see you for the next class.